Today's message, today's mystic guest is Khalil Gibran. In this particular poem, the form, our body and our physical existence, our mind and how we exist, is depicted as the masculine, and the spirit is depicted as the feminine. It offers words and vocabulary to that mute sadness. You know what I'm talking about. There's a mute sadness inside of each one of us. So the words of this poem will offer a vocabulary for you to realize what that sadness is, or possibly even feel it fully and deeply instead of ignoring it or numbing it. So here we go. Man and I are sweethearts. He craves me, and I long for him. But alas, between us has appeared a rival who brings us misery. She is cruel and demanding, possessing empty lure. Her name is substance. The metaphor that conjures up in the mind is that of a temptress. And she's cruel and she's demanding, and she possesses this lure that hypnotizes us. And her name is substance. And to me, substance is the sum total of everything that the ego offers or runs after. Sensory pleasures, greed, lust, anger, attachments, power, and everything else that these impulses drive us towards. I mean, every religious scripture denounces these impulses, don't they? Collectively, all across the board, every single religion denounces these. But to acknowledge that these are inbuilt in us, there is no Satan here. These impulses are a part of us, and the whole play is between this mistress, this lure of the egoic impulses that is so deeply hypnotizing. The Vedic word for this lure is called Trishna. Like we can get lost in this Trishna, this Maya. And that which our beloved, the other half, that is constantly calling us, that is beckoning us. So this is the play, this is the game between these two. And we, the human being, sits in the middle. And we can stay lost as long as we want. We stay lost as long as we keep getting lured by the tantalizing Maya and keep ignoring our faithful, consistent, always loyal, always supportive, always connected beloved. And this mistress, she sells all kinds of wares to us, you know. She knocks at our doors of the senses relentlessly. She's always promising us something new, always promising us something exciting, isn't she? Especially nowadays in the swipe up, swipe left, swipe right kind of a model that we have, like fulfilling these unnecessary impulses has become so easy. And we get more and more drawn into them, and more emptiness seems to be filling us. Do you notice that? Not only are we hypnotically being drawn by these sirens, but each time we pay attention to these desires, these impulsive desires, these unnecessary attachments, the more we become imprisoned by it, which means that longing that we have to that inner voice that calls us, calls each one of us, the more we feel helpless and unable to reach towards it. So we say, let's just double down on the game. Let's just go with the mistress. Let the longing persist. We'll find ways to tune it out. We'll find ways to numb it out. And this is what you see all around you. all across the world, all across the human nature, you will see this happening. She follows wherever we go and watches like a sentinel, bringing restlessness to my lover. Are you restless? Do you feel that restlessness through the day? And so your beloved is reminding you, honey, your mistress is making you restless. Come to me. Come to me. She follows. She's the one in between us. When will you renounce her? Well, when will you denounce her? So we can be together. I ask for my beloved in the forest, under the trees, by the lake. But I cannot find him, for substance has spirited him to the clamorous city and placed him on the throne of quaking metal riches. Notice the word quaking, which means there is no stability. There is no consistency. That temporariness we talked about another day, where everything is temporary. We don't step into the same river twice. And yet we keep seeking that consistent permanence of love and connection and guidance from a mistress that can only offer us quakiness, constant change. I call for him with a voice of knowledge and the song of wisdom. He does not hear it, for substance has enticed him into the dungeon of selfishness, where avarice dwells. For those of you who don't recognize this word avarice, it means extreme greed for wealth or material gain. What jumped up at me from these couple of lines is that our beloved, our soul, is constantly calling us with the voice of knowledge, with the voice of wisdom. But he says, my beloved doesn't hear it. My lover doesn't hear it. Because substance has enticed him into the dungeon. It has imprisoned the dungeon of selfishness, where avarice dwells. You know, I find this to be so true. There are so many people like me on this planet right now who are heeding that call of wisdom, that call of knowledge, that are getting drawn to wanting to know where the beloved dwells. But they're so far and few in between. And for those of us who have the inkling, that have the initial draw to maybe even want to hear it, we get so overwhelmed and so overpowered by the enticement of the material world. You know, I've created courses and I'm working on other trainings as well that can remind us of who we are, where we came from, where the beloved exists, and how to get there. But there are so few takers for these. But on the other hand, you will find yourself being very attracted to an offering that offers you how to learn to earn 6-figure incomes within 1 week or less. You know, there's the lure. Those 6-figure income offers you luxury, it offers you comfort, it offers you extravagance, it offers you indulgence, pleasure, power. So notice how our mind is almost hypnotized to move towards that. Even though we are feeling the emptiness within, our mind says, what would you have to show for yourself by taking this course? Nothing. Nothing tangible. But hear the words again. The soul says, I call for you, my beloved, with the voice of knowledge and the song of wisdom. That's where you will find me. but substance has enticed him into dungeon of selfishness. So really it's up to us, isn't it? When will you want to be free from that dungeon where substance has imprisoned you? And please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with material things. It's only when you get imprisoned by them that the problem begins. So check in with yourself. You might find that two different things are calling you, but which one do you take action towards? Where do you invest your time and energy and resources in? I seek him in the field of contentment, but I am alone. For my rival has imprisoned him in the cave of gluttony and greed, and locked him there with painful chains of gold. Just like I said, there's no problem with material things. There's no problem with desires. We don't want to banish desires. Even the desire to belong to our own beloved, to seek that beloved, even that is a desire. But unnecessary desires that have nothing to do with our purpose of existence, that are based in pure entertainment, pure lurement towards material collection, so we, our ego, can feel secure, somehow feel secure, and yet security constantly eludes us, doesn't it? But there is a problem when we realize that every desire that we have comes with the power to tap into your life force. Even every tiny desire, you're sitting here and you don't like what the weather looks like today and say, I wish the weather was 70 degrees today. Just that unnecessary thought, not that you thinking about it, preferring the weather to be different, it's going to change. But just you having that thought activates your system to want to fulfill that desire. That's just how our system is set up. Which means we need to be very discerning about what am I even presenting to myself as a desire that I might have. You're swiping on social media and there's so much right now. It's shopping time, right? There's this available to you, this kind of jewelry available to you, these kind of clothing available to you, new boots, things for your children, things for your family. It's endless, isn't it? Endless. How much do we need? How much do we need? It's endless. But every desire, every time you click on something, now you have placed a condition upon your contentment. You have placed a condition on your contentment. And he says, I seek him in the field of contentment. How long do you hang out in the field of contentment during your day? Answer to yourself, but answer truthfully. Does that seem like a far-off luxury that you may someday avail yourself to? Someday when the children are grown up, someday when your responsibilities are over, I can look for contentment. Contentment cannot be found. It's always there. Underneath the dense obscuring of these constant desires, this constant conflict. All we have to do is clear that, get our bodies and minds to a place of rest and security, and there it is. There's the field of contentment, and that's where you will find your beloved. You will find your spirit. It's not very difficult. The difficult part is undoing our habits. The difficult part is simplifying our life. And the moment you do, contentment is right there. But I am alone, the Spirit says. I'm alone in this field of contentment. For my rival has imprisoned him in the clave of gluttony, sensory indulgences, constant sensory indulgences, and locked him there with painful chains of gold. Painful chains of gold. So it doesn't matter how many luxury homes you own or luxury vacations you take, how many cozy blankets you cover yourself in. If you feel imprisoned deep within yourself, you are a prisoner. Maybe just with chains of gold, that's all, but you are imprisoned. I called to him at dawn, where nature smiles. Those of you who know me know that I am big on waking up during what Guru Nanak says, the Amrit Vela, the earlier hours of the day where the sun and the moon sometimes meet, the night and the day sometimes meet. And that is a place, he says, I call for you. Are you awake during those hours? Are you so exhausted after pursuing all of your desires that you said, there's no way I can wake up at 4:30, 5 in the morning? That's way too early. That's crazy. I can go to bed early. I have all my shows to watch. I'm addicted to these shows that reveal all the turmoil of humanness again. Imprint more of that in our minds right before we go to bed. No wonder we are exhausted. Waking up at 4:35 seems impossible. But try it someday. Try it sometime consistently for 20 days, 30 days. And it'll take a few days for your mind to settle. And just like that, you will be able to hear your soul. And that one moment of connection with your beloved is worth 15 retreats that you could go to find that place of contentment, connect to your soul. Really, it's that simple. I call to him at dawn when nature smiles, but he does not hear me. For excess has laden his drugged eyes with sick slumber. I beguile him. I try to allure him. I try to charm him. In the evening, when silence rules and the flowers sleep. But he responds not, for his fear over what tomorrow will bring shadows his thoughts. Feel that? Now, in the next few lines, he tells you how we can find our beloved. He yearns to love me. He asks for me in his own acts. See, the Spirit knows that too. The Spirit knows that we are longing for it. We are seeking it in everything. We're seeking it in every relationship. We're seeking it in every career move we make. We're seeking it in every attachment we create. We are seeking it in everything we are trying to possess. He yearns to love me, he says. He asks for me in his own acts, but he will find me not except in the acts of God. You will find your soul, you will find your beloved when you act on what your heart truly longs to create, truly longs to do, truly longs to experience or taste. He seeks me in the edifices of his glory, which he has built upon bones of others. He's talking about all these pyramids and temples and mosques and churches, cathedrals. He whispers to me from amongst his heaps of gold and silver. But he will find me only by coming to the house of simplicity, which God has built at the brink of the stream of affection. Your heart, not your intellect. You can gain as much spiritual knowledge as you want to. You can read as many books as you want to, as many self-help books as you want to. But whatever you receive, if it does not go through the channel of the heart, if it does not touch your heart, it is useless. But one word that reaches your heart, and there it is. There's your beloved. The spirit is longing to belong to you as much as you long to belong to it. Always remember that. But it is only for us to remove the obstacles that sit between us and our beloved. We will have to renounce our mistress substance.